This episode is brought to you by Facebook. So you were scrolling on Marketplace, and there it was, the bike you'd been searching for. You sent a message, and it turned out the seller was super chatty, kind of funny, and an avid cyclist. The next thing you know, you're in a cycling crew. Well, a community cycling group. The thing about Facebook, you might find more than what you're looking for. From a browse to a bike ride, this summer find more on Facebook.
This episode is brought to you by PayPal. You had plans for the last days of summer. And back-to-school shopping has its own plans. School supplies, dorm essentials, your list doesn't stop. Neither does the spending. But when you pay in full with PayPal, you can pay over time. No interest, no fees. Check out with PayPal and get back to summer. Subject to approval. Learn more at paypal.com/payinfor. PayPal Inc. NMLS 910457.
So good, so good, so good.
New fall arrivals are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. Get ready to save big with up to 60% off brands like Vince, Steve Madden, Kate Spade New York, and Boss. Stock up on the latest trends like animal print, lace, and suede. Join the Nordy Club for free to unlock exclusive discounts, shop clearance, and new arrivals before anyone else, and so much more. Plus, you can buy online and then pick up your order at your favorite Rack store. It's fast and free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you Rack.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another shade of blue. I am David Greenwald, your host for the evening, while Cody is off volleyballing or working or flirting with girls. I don't know, whatever it is Cody does on Monday nights. I'm here with Carrie Robinson, Thad Bell, Robert Russert, Daniel Sperry from the Kansas City Star is probably joining us later, hypothetically. We'll find out.
Well, Daniel is hypothetical.
Hypothetical Daniel. Well, guys, welcome. Can't say it's been a good week since we last talked, but it's been a week. So how's everybody feeling?
It could have been worse. Let's just say that. There's always worse. We didn't lose to St. Louis. It's a positive. One positive of the many maybe not positives.
Robert, you don't know it's rock bottom till you hit it? How you feeling?
No.
Well,
you don't know. You don't know till you climb out of it.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, we're still hitting it.
Yeah, we are still hitting it. It feels like, what was that thing that Batman was in that he had to climb out of? I don't know what the name of that jail or that hole that he was in, but, feels like it just keep getting deeper and deeper. And it was just inspirational to see us survive against St. Louis. So, that was something. You're right, Carrie.
Thad, you're always the contrarian. We're all down. Pick us up.
I will say that while I am not necessarily thrilled about all the moves, I will say that I do see there is a future.
Thad, you always have such a good way with words.
There is a future no matter what, Thad.
Not in Carrie's version of a bad week.
Tomorrow is the future.
Yes.
Well,
we just see the future now.
As always, our show is brought to you by Core Outdoor, and Robert is here with our Core roster move of the week.
Oh my Lord, that's the depressing part, isn't it, guys?
Core roster move of the week, Robert. Let's just rip that Band-Aid off. What is it?
Well, it has not happened yet, David. So we do have a little bit of, faith that it might not. I don't know, but it might be a good idea, right? But Dejan Joveljić to Seattle for $6 million, I believe is the number. Correct me on that if I'm wrong. But, we've talked about this possible move, haven't we? Maybe him, free Dejan Joveljić, and whether he asks for it or whether Sporting's doing it because it's the right move on their roster. I don't know, but it is. I don't want to see Decky go. He was a good man, and we'll talk later whether he's the best we've had.
I mean, he's still a good man, kind of
Yes, he is.
regardless of what jersey he's in. He's not
No,
dead.
That's true.
no. He's
Again,
with Seattle.
that could be
He's-
worse too.
Did you ever see Major League 2, the movie?
Of course.
There was the player that was, when he was with the team, he was the greatest, and they talked about his wiggle would make all the girls swoon. When he was with the Yankees, though, I think that's what it was. It was like, oh, he does that, and it makes all the women vomit. It was the exact same thing, exact same guy, right? So when he's with Seattle, no, he will be evil. He will be terrible. We should outlaw the gun celebration, all of that.
Well, my fear is every time we play LA, Decky scores on them. So is he going to now turn around and just score on us relentlessly?
What do
Who
you mean?
doesn't?
The team that we've beaten twice? The only team we've beaten twice this season?
I mean, everybody else scores goals on us, so I don't know why Decky changing shirts, why it would be a surprise, but I can only assume he's going to score a lot. Carrie, how do you feel about this?
Like I said last week, I think I'd gotten to a point where we do need to set him free. Now, to a bad Seattle team, questionable. I think maybe we were thinking more of like a outside of MLS move when we were thinking the grand scheme of letting our love go. But
Our love. Okay.
we'll call him love. If you love something, you gotta set him free, even if it's to Seattle. I don't want to say that actually.
Seattle is barely better than Sporting right now. I mean, they're a few points higher than us, but they're only 2 places above. They're a team that has tons of injuries. They have a ton of old players. They're going to have to clear cap space. They're going to have to do the whole roster rebuild probably next year. They're Sporting in 2024 essentially.
I
And
mean,
they're
their
adding Decky. That's really Sporting in 2024 pretty much.
yeah, I mean, their goal differential is only 26 better than Sporting's.
26.
Well, they still have
that's
a
all.
defense.
We'll talk about the Atlanta game later, but I
But
know,
hold
I know
on, David,
going
hold
into
on.
that game, I thought, oh, they're only 1 spot above us. Surely they're not going to be any good. So
But
yeah,
hold on.
no,
Thad
Seattle.
mentioned 2024, guys. At this point, and I have the stat ready. I was doing it while I was eating. At 2024, we were 4-12-5, 2 points better than what we are this year. So if Seattle is their 2024 us, they're still better than us.
But the comparison is there, right? I'm not saying the exact numbers, of course. They're an old team with a lot of injuries, and they're going to have to do some major moves in order to get back to being good and competitive. And they're making one of them now, but we'll see what that can do for them this year.
Well, so the deal's not official yet, and in large part because Seattle already has 3 DPs. Robert, how are they going to sign another DP?
Well, as we've been talking here before the pod, and you had Tom Bogert and the Athletic, Albert Rusnak, who was a fabulous player at RSL, and then Seattle got him. He's been great for them until maybe the last year and a half. They're going to have to extend his contract, is the rumor, because that's the only thing they really can do. Too late to put, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, on the injured reserve list. So, yeah, not great for them. But whether Rusnak is a player they plan on having in the future or not, but now they're probably stuck with him if they want day on.
Yeah, so you're thinking of Pedro de la Vega, who's
There
got
you
a
go,
season-ending injury, but it's too late to put him on the season-ending injury list and move him off the roster rule books. So they've got the corpse of Jordan Morris, the shell of Albert Rusnak, and this broken down man, Pedro de la Vega, and they're going to extend Albert Rusnak's contract so that he's no longer a DP to make room for Decky. Is that what we think is going to happen?
Is Peter Vermees taking over at Seattle? This kind of sounds like
Is
a
this
Peter move.
is this 2022 Sporting?
Does
That's what I'm saying.
Jordan Morris have knees like this? He's had so many injuries. Do his knees who's got better joints, Jordan Morris or an
Me?
octogenarian?
Close.
Well, speaking as one, no kidding.
I'm the closest.
But, he has knees in form only, David. I don't think he actually has cartilage or anything of that matter. So,
Yeah. I mean, one of the conversations that is going around, in our Slack channel, I'm in the middle of writing an article about why losing Manu is actually not the worst thing that's ever happened to our team. Is in this league with the salary cap, you have such a finite amount of room to hit on players. And every other league in the world where they don't have a salary cap, you can miss on a player and it doesn't cripple you. But when you only have 3 guys where you can spend unlimited money on them, you have to hit. Jordan Morris, 2026, 11 games played, 1 goal, 2 assists. That is objectively terrible. And so, maybe they need Decky more than we do. Maybe I don't know. I'm spitballing here. Carrie, save us. Give me something. What is happening?
You lost me, and maybe they need Decky more than we do. When, again, Sounders have a 26 goal differential better than us. I'm sorry. I really cannot break it to you. But, I mean, I think this gives you hope in terms of, like, what we've been hearing from Peter Maluk's tweets, constant tweets about how the pain is going to be ending very shortly. Questionable. It's been a few weeks. I would like that pain to stop already.
Peter Maluk is like aggressively online. Has he been like commented at all about this on Twitter or anything? Like, has he been talking to the people about what's going on?
I mean, outside of him just saying he's going to spend more money, but like outside of that, like, I mean, and that's the only thing that can give us hope right now is that they're coming in with multiple DPs now with, you'd think, over $10 million worth, even more each.
Thad, you mentioned that, and I'm paraphrasing you because you're so much better with words than me, but that if you squint real hard and kind of tilt your head, you can kind of make sense of why we're doing this.
Yes.
Okay, good answer. Could you develop that at all?
If I do that to Cody, what makes you think I'm not going to do that to you, man? Come on. Look, I don't know, right? But if the numbers are accurate, they're selling DJ for $6 million, right? $3 million of that can become allocation money, frees up a DP spot. If you go out and spend, $10 million on a striker from someplace that's kind of Decky level, but now you've got that extra $3 million. It helps your overall cap space. It helps all the roster, and you can keep moving that money around. If Maluk's willing to go spend 18 to 23 million on a Brazilian winger that we're not completely sure can score because he didn't do it while he was in Greece, but he did do it while he was in Portugal, who just arrived today, why can't he go spend another 15, 20 million on a forward, right? On a 9.
Well, it's got to be mentioned here that, what he offered, what was the number that we offered for Fernandez from NYFCFC?
Was that 25 million?
23, 25, yeah, somewhere in there.
Something like that.
That is crazy considering we just got 18 million for Luis. Yeah, Maluk is not backing down.
If he's willing to spend that kind of money, you would have to think that he could spend a lot of money for a 9, right? I mean, he'd be willing to spend somewhere in that range. And it might be overspending, but it's overspending on transfer fee, which doesn't affect your cap, right? It affects how somebody might have to be a DP, but he's already going to have to be a DP, right? So it doesn't change that in any real shape. It's his money, not our money. It's not cap money. It's out of his pocket.
So are we willing to go the rest of the season without a 9 if they can't get a 9 signing done in this window? Because, they're looking at a 10, they're looking at a 9, they're looking maybe at a defensive mid because there was a slight rumor about that. Are we prepared for not having a 9 the rest of the season, or?
Taylor Calhera accidentally got important at work. And I'm sorry, Taylor.
Wow. That's like so hateful.
No, it's not. It's just, he came from USL and now he is starting for Sporting Kansas City constantly because he's going to be the closest to the 9 we have at the moment.
Well,
and
we're
choppy.
like kind of a USL team.
Okay,
I should have said
we don't play in a baseball park this time.
I should have said a frontline 9. I wasn't trying to insult Taylor. But what did he get? 4 touches before he got, subbed out of the game the other night?
Yeah, but that's not his fault.
I know. Well, that's the other thing about this. Dejan wasn't getting touches. Is Seattle going to be able to feed him? I know who's going to feed him the ball in Seattle, but we've got a lot to fix with this team. Even if we do get a 9, we still have that problem. Who's going to get the ball to him, right?
Well, let's talk about roster construction just for a second. So we have 2 DP spots open, or we could do 1 more DP and 4 U22s. But I think David Lee has pretty much publicly said he wants 3 DPs, 3 U22s, and that will forgo the extra couple million in GAM. And I think Mike wrote a great article full of Mike stats about how the U22 initiative has been largely a flop. Dejan is actually one of the few U22s who were a true hit in the league. So, and I actually have no insight into this, but I'm curious what the profile is of the striker that we're looking for. You can go like Miami and get the corpse of Luis Suarez out there. You can get, you can go with a really young guy, like when when LA signed Decky, it was a $3.5 million transfer fee to Eintracht Frankfurt in the Bundesliga. But he'd been on loan in the Austrian Bundesliga for a long time. But $3.5 million got them a U22, a Serbian, international. $3.5 million. I mean, considering we just paid $25 million for Luis is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket for a really talented young player.
Right.
Or do we spend $10 million on a striker and we get somebody who's more fully cooked, like somebody who's under 25, 26, 27-year-old range, kind of like where Decky occupies right now. I tend to think that there's no reason to move on from a 27-year-old proven MLS Cup, quality striker, unless you're going a lot younger, but shooting for the moon in terms of potential.
Yeah, I mean, the other question, and Taylor Twellman talked about this, what is our style of play actually going to be? What is our way that we're playing? We're supposed to be possession, and Decky makes sense in a high possession team, likes to keep the ball, feed a number 9 who can finish well in the box. He makes sense for that. But a lot of our acquisitions obviously have been more of a speedy winger, so we can get up the field quickly, things like that. So is that what they're going to look for in the 9, a profile of athletic and speed, and we're going to continue this kind of counterattacking style, or is it going to be leaning more toward the possession side? So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out.
I don't think they've ever really been a possession-oriented thought to this team, quite honestly, at this point.
That's what they said when they first came in, though, what David Lee said.
Yeah, but I think he said possession, but then he's but into a quick attack. It's always been that quick attack part of it has been part of their conversation. So I know they would like to have better possession. Everybody would like to have better possession.
Yeah.
But
that's my favorite part about every new coach, every new director of football.
Yeah.
Everybody. Oh, we're going to play attractive, attacking soccer.
Yeah.
Everybody says it. They all lie.
Right.
They all lie.
So it used to be very much that phrase, but now it's kind of transformed more into we're going to be possession, play out of the back, and be fast in the attack, which sounds very familiar. But yeah, I used to laugh at every single coach that would come in. Attractive attacking soccer. I remember that, Kurt Onalfo. You lied.
Well, there are only a few teams, I think, in MLS history who could be able to pull that off. Columbus under Nancy, and the new guy there is kind of getting them back to that. Cincinnati, arguably. Obviously, Miami's trying to do that model, but I don't know if I can name any other teams that really play a possession.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see somebody come in and be like, we're going to play god-awful soccer. We are going to hack you down every chance we get. We're going to play direct route 1. The minute we get it, we're hoofing it long. Bunker ball. Suck it. I would love for that to be the opening press conference of some manager.
I mean, we have a third of that, and hacking people down and just getting red cards.
Were there any red cards against Atlanta?
There were not.
Okay, progress. Before we put a bow on the Dejan Joveljić leaving, I have a question for you all. Is Dejan Joveljić the best 9 to ever play for Sporting?
Well,
don't everybody speak at once.
So, Thad, correct me if I'm wrong, but was Digital a true 9, or was Mo Johnston the 9 when he came in? Either candidate there. I mean, Decky beats them out stat-wise easy. And just ability as a soccer player, as a finisher, and making the runs into the right spaces. You mentioned Dom Dwyer. David, he's got some, 22 goals, you said, whatever year that was?
2014?
Pretty impressive. But he didn't have the staying power because I don't think he was the class that Dejan was. So is there somebody out there I'm missing? Kai Kamara didn't really play a 9 until late in his career. He didn't play it here. Any other thoughts that anybody else has on who it could be?
Well, you could say Polito, and I know people will be mad at that, but Polito was a very good 9 when he was healthy.
Yeah.
And I know that he got hurt a year into his contract or whatever it was, but he was a very good 9. Now, he didn't always get enough feeding either, but
Right.
and he may have sometimes been distracted by other things in this world.
Like what kind of things?
I'm not going to
Things
name
you have to
names.
have a bodyguard for.
I want to throw a one out there from the old days, Miklos Molnar.
Right, but his history here was so short. I mean, you can't argue his, production, right?
I mean, he didn't score as many goals as some of these others, but it was also not a team that was built to give 1,000 chances, right? And I think
Yeah.
he was pretty clinical when he got his opportunities.
Right.
So that's
exactly.
and what is the best 9, right? The one that's had the highest success, the one that's had the most goals, what is the best 9? If it's pure technical ability, it's probably Dejan.
Yeah.
If it's success, he could actually make an argument for Molnar, right? Because got us an MLS Cup.
Best fit for the team is kind of what you're getting at, and Molnar fit that team so
Yeah.
well.
And Dom fit this team really well when he was playing too,
Yeah.
because that's what it was fast, go forward. When Dom was at his best, he ran into the box, he scored goals. It's like the next couple of years though, he seemed to fall down a lot, and then he wasn't scoring as much.
I mean, when you talk about Polito and Molnar's skill set, I think they were a little better at, putting their head in spots to finish goals that maybe other guys wouldn't. Dejan wasn't exactly adept at that so much, but yeah.
Carrie, what year did you start following Sporting?
2014.
Okay, so Carrie has seen Dom Dwyer play striker, Christian Nemeth, Kyrie Shelton,
Taylor Calhera.
Taylor Calhera, Alan Polito, and Decky, right? Those 6?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Carrie, we have won not very many trophies during your fandom. Have you ever thought that maybe you're the problem?
No, I have not actually.
But now she's going to have a complex.
I have seen many Open Cup wins. Well, like 3, 2, whatever it is. So we are not winning trophies not because of me. You could make the argument for MLS Cup maybe, but
I would like some maybe a little bit more introspection from you, and on the next pod we can discuss.
I'll reflect on this.
Okay. Well, I'd like to make a stupid chess pun. That is a checkmate on Decky in Kansas City.
No, but that is the reason they plan on trading him, is because they would be supremely embarrassed if I beat him in chess.
And what's the likelihood of that happening?
Well, 0 if he's traded.
What's your rating online now, Thad? On the computer?
Like half of Decky's. But that meant I could stand a chance. But it's consistently improving.
In the moment, you never know. That's why they play the game.
Yeah, I mean, I might stand a 1 in 100 chance, but there's a chance.
Well,
Until
our
they
sweet
trade
Serbian
black,
prince.
Would you
We
play
hardly knew
black?
you.
Would that give you the advantage, Thad?
No, I don't. Neither one. I do about equally well.
Okay.
Until the trade is final, it's only check for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's still trying to find a way out of it. But
All
again, we don't know if it does happen. It could still fall through, right?
So there's been no word. I'm sorry, David. No word that he asked for a trade or whatever that we know of. Does that make the story different if maybe it doesn't work out and he stays?
I don't think he asked for a trade.
Okay.
Because I think if he did, he wouldn't ask for Seattle.
Right. Well, sure.
Again, Seattle might have a better goal differential, but they're still only a couple places above Sporting, and they play on turf. No buddy who does a lot of running wants to play on turf.
Maybe he
And
likes
you gotta think if it was
rain.
Decky originating this, yeah, he would want Europe, but maybe not.
Maybe he
Or a
likes
top
America.
4 team.
Do top 4 teams need him?
Then why would he leave if he's going to go to another mediocre to bad team?
Maybe he misses Manu.
To play on turf.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of other teams that would have made a deal for him. Seattle is the one that came calling.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they're looking for any way to save their season and throw a bone to their fans. I was looking for the right word there, but to make the fans happier that they're doing something.
Yeah, because their head coach isn't even happy about that. Did you see his last press conference? Basically throwing the owners under the bus, saying, "You guys got to get me some players."
Was that the one where he was like sitting there and like looking down the line of his bench and going, "Yeah, this guy's from the 2 team, this guy's from the 2 team, this guy's from the academy," and not having
Stop the presses. Daniel Sperry has joined the chat.
He is no longer hypothetical.
In perfect time. Daniel, you missed our entire conversation about Dejan Joveljić, and I'm not going to give you the opportunity to weigh in. We're going to take a break. When we come back from our break, we're going to talk about beating the drawing, which is frankly for us a win, the Toasted Ravs, and then getting stomped by Atlanta. So we'll be right back.
If weight loss has felt like a losing battle, this summer can be different. Skip the guesswork and try Weight Loss by Hims. Access an affordable range of FDA-approved GLP-1 medications, including the Wegovy pill and the Wegovy pen, plus the support to actually stick with it. With Wegovy at Hims, lose up to 20% of your body weight when combined with diet and exercise. It helps you regulate your appetite, eat less, and keep weight off. Plus, Wegovy is the first ever GLP-1 pill for weight loss, so there are no needles needed. Through Hims, everything happens online. You'll connect with a licensed provider who will determine if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is delivered right to your door. No insurance necessary. Ready to reach your goals? Visit hims.com/FFSN to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's HIMS.com/FFSN. hims.com/FFSN. Weight Loss by Hims is not available in all 50 states. Wegovy is the registered trademark of Novo Nordisk AS. To get started and learn more, including important safety information, Wegovy clinical study information, and restrictions, visit hims.com.
This episode is brought to you by Facebook. So you were scrolling on Marketplace, and there it was, the bike you'd been searching for. You sent a message, and it turned out the seller was super chatty, kind of funny, and an avid cyclist. The next thing you know, you're in a cycling crew. Well, a community cycling group. The thing about Facebook, you might find more than what you're looking for. From a browse to a bike ride, this summer find more on Facebook.
This episode is brought to you by PayPal. You had plans for the last days of summer. And back-to-school shopping has its own plans. School supplies, dorm essentials, your list doesn't stop. Neither does the spending. But when you pay in full with PayPal, you can pay over time. No interest, no fees. Check out with PayPal and get back to summer. Subject to approval. Learn more at paypal.com/payinfor. PayPal Inc. NMLS 910457.
This episode is brought to you by Nordstrom. For 125 years, Nordstrom has been part of your story. The stylist who found the perfect outfit for your big interview. The first pair of walking shoes for your 1-year-old. The tomato soup you shared with your sister at the cafe. These are the moments that make Nordstrom, Nordstrom. Big or small, we're here for all of it. Celebrating 125 years with new moments still ahead. Discover it all in Nordstrom stores and at Nordstrom.com.
And we're back with Daniel Sperry from the Kansas City Star. Daniel, nice of you to join us.
Howdy. I vote that Daniel does get to say a bit about Decky, but we keep it at a minute.
No, we put
It's hard for him to do.
Yeah, we put a perfect little bow on it. I even said checkmate. Like it was over.
No, we
Have
said
you listened
check,
to Sperry?
not checkmate. Carrie said check.
I want to talk about what felt like a win, but was most certainly just a draw. But the midweek game against the Fighting Toasted Raviolis and their beautiful Tina Turner gold dress kits. Thad, How did you feel about beating your hometown or drawing? God, I keep saying beating. It's so bad that I feel like a draw is a win. It's so
Especially
bad.
as a comeback.
It's
Right.
it's so disheartening. Drawing at home with St. Louis, your hometown. How did you feel about the game?
Well, St. Louis is my hometown, but that is not my team in any way, shape, or form. Just to
Let's make that
sure.
crystal clear.
Yeah. And any result against the team that's wearing that dehydrated urine color is good. Any result, especially
Robert
the fact that
checks
they
his
have
shirt.
that looks slightly
I checked
better.
my shirt. Uh-oh.
Yeah. You don't also have the stains on it,
Right.
but a good. It was a result, and it was good, and the fact that Sporting has never lost to St. Louis at Kansas City. So, yay.
Carrie, you were in the cauldron for this game, right?
Yes.
Was there a famous person near you?
Yes, Heidi Gardner. There's
Are
been
you
so
gonna be-
much that happened this week. I totally forgot about that.
Are you going to be on the big screen throwing up a double bird at St. Louis?
I don't think so. I don't know when they were recording necessarily, but I did have a guy tap me on the shoulder and was like, "Hey, you may not want to do that because they will be recording." And it was just another fan, so like I didn't really think too much of it. I'll be honest. But it felt like my friend next to me, every time that I stopped doing it, he started doing it. So our bad. It's fine. It's an indie film. It probably won't be that harsh to ratings in
And
terms
there's
of
such
like,
thing as editing,
Yeah. exactly.
Sperry, were you in the press box throwing up the double birds?
No.
Oh,
There's
they do
decorum.
frown on. Yeah. Robo
they
and
frown
Patrick
on-
do frown on that.
Yeah. We'll refrain from those, but yes, was in the press box for that.
Sperry, what'd you see from the press box?
I saw a team all pulling in the same direction for once. I don't, as much of the credit, players kept talking about, the coaching staff laid out a really good game plan for us, and everybody was 100% bought into the game plan and executed it. And it's kind of like, well, and I kind of asked the question along the way of like, what changed? Was it really just everyone pulling in the same direction of the coaching staff's idea? And that seemed to be like the resounding answer. And has the coaching staff had game plans that just have not been fully 100% efforted on the players' end? I would be unsurprised if that was the case at points throughout the season. But I felt like the way that they had set up everything, like St. Louis played into every single trap that Sporting set. Sporting set a lot of really, really good traps in the press, and kept St. Louis from kind of doing what they wanted to do and building into the phases and the higher in the attacking third. Really, they won the ball so much in the St. Louis half. To be honest, they had less passes than St. Louis did all night, but they completed more passes combined in the middle, or in St. Louis's half and in St. Louis's defensive third, so Sporting's final third, than St. Louis completed in both of those combined against Sporting Kansas City. So that tells you that the press worked. We saw a lot of it, not to allude to what happened on Sunday too much here and get ahead of the show line probably, but they did a lot of that in the second half of the second game that we saw this week. And so that was the big takeaway for me, was the press worked. Players seemed 100% bought into the way of playing that the coaching staff had laid out, the game plan and all that. And it by and large worked. And maybe they should do a little bit more of that.
Robert, our starting back line against St. Louis was Carrie and Davis on the outside, with titans of the center back pairing, Wyatt Meyer and Jansen Miller. When that lineup came out, how did you feel about seeing our CPA friend Jansen and Wyatt Meyer holding it down in the middle?
Well, obviously Miller was in there because Blorian couldn't go at the last minute, which, I'd like to see a little bit more of Mr. Blorian. But, I didn't have high hopes. But if you look back, you're like, okay, these guys have performed well. Miller's usually performs well against St. Louis especially. So, I didn't think all was lost at that point, but it would definitely take a Herculean effort from everybody to make sure that the weaknesses were not exposed.
So on the bench, we had both Ian James and Diego Borges. Maybe Thad or Daniel, do either of you have any insight on why Borges, who we paid a transfer fee to, who's taking up a U22 spot, can't even sniff the field?
He's been injured for a while, dating back to before the break. That's why he got 45 minutes at SKC2.
I was going to say, wasn't he playing with the twos?
Yeah,
just 45.
Just 45. That's his first action. That's the first time he's made a match day roster since April. So he came in. They tried to ramp him up high. He was out of play for a while. I personally had tempered expectations on how much Borges would actually contribute on the field at all this year. But I don't think he has underhit that mark of what I expected yet. So not that I don't think he's potentially a great player, but guys, that can go 90 minutes are 100. You don't throw a Borges into a game like this where you can only play him 45, and he's just a couple days removed of playing 45 minutes, for the first time in months.
So that brings me to a different point, but along the same line in terms of center backs and availability. And I'm going to come to you, Carrie, but I want to preface this by saying in my friend group, you can say whatever you want as long as you start with the phrase, I have a theory. So I'm gonna prompt you with this. I have a theory that Blorian kind of not so good. Because dude can't play. He's always out.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not okay. I won't agree with it fully. I think it is more disappointing that, we've known about him for 6 months and then, he didn't really get an off season, per se, maybe a little bit of one, but it is definitely frustrating to see this guy that we desperately needed for defense, or so we thought, because we were watching Bartlow and Meyer and Miller all rotating, letting in 4 to 5 goals every game, and then to have this guy just not be able to really get healthy, which is a very sporting thing to happen.
It's also very sporting getting guys in the summer transfer window when you don't play that type of schedule situation. Because it was like Manu came in last year and played after having been a whole season. And then he started getting hurt too towards the end. So it's part of that result, which is one of the good parts of the schedule change that should happen.
Robert, what are your thoughts on my theory?
I don't think we've seen enough, obviously. But, I do like what I've seen out of Mosquera, so that's a positive, right?
We're not talking about Mosquera. We're talking about my theory.
I'm just trying to throw a positive out there, David.
No, I mean, I think that, Blorian, when he's been able to play, has looked fine, right? But if you can't go 90 from center back, that's a problem. There's a finite number of, substitutions you can get. There's a finite number of, and, generally speaking, you don't want to be substituting out your center backs. You want to be substituting on maybe a third to kill off a game. But it's usually bad when your center back has to get taken out and can't go 90. So I'm optimistic that he'll get it turned around when he gets healthy. But does anybody have an idea of how long he'll be out for? Or when he may be rejoining us?
I mean, he's been questionable enough to be in training and in a match day. He could have gone, potentially. He was close to going. It flared up in the pregame against St. Louis. Had some time off. I'll say this, Jensen Miller struggled with something very similar. Just some back spasms that hit at the very beginning of his career. Jensen Miller was supposed to start the first game of 2025 in Austin and did not get to go, did not get to travel, did not play for a couple of games because of a back spasm injury like that. Eventually came in and we saw him be fine. So I'm looking at this, and the St. Louis game was his first game ever that he played for the club, first game in a while, and that game was absolutely dreadful to exist in, let alone run in. And that he admitted taxed him pretty heavily. Played 90 minutes, full 90 minutes, just 3 days later. Closer to a week later. And then another 3 days later, plays in LA, goes 70 minutes, is yanked, team's down 4-0. They get on Mascara to give a look at him, then goes 90 minutes, and then goes to the Colorado game where he has back spasms and is pulled out. So I will push back on the availability idea just because he missed 2 games for back spasms is not a concern. Getting that game in St. Louis was absolutely incredibly taxing, and nobody played well in the St. Louis game or in the LAFC game. So
I was gonna say, didn't he ask off in the St. Louis game? Didn't he ask to be subbed out in the rivalry game?
Yeah, it's his first 90 minutes ever, and I think the first time he's ever played in the humidity quite like that. And so that
okay.
Daniel,
I didn't ask you to poke holes in my theory. Okay.
I did. I wanted to poke holes.
I mean,
I think
when you ask for opinions,
I think it's incredibly early to have any sort of judgment, and to say if we're gonna say when you put him on the field and you think he's fine, then he's fine. Players get injuries. Welcome to the world of professional sports.
And players have to get used to the different pace of play in MLS versus other leagues, because it is a more speed transition league than a lot of leagues in this world. So he might have to run a little bit more than he had to do in his previous location. So
Israel?
Yeah.
Whole world of changes when you come over here.
So in this game, and I don't want to talk about St. Louis that much more, but in this game, Blorian's replacement, Jansen Miller, hacks down some dude in a kit designed to look like a dress that Tina Turner once wore right outside the box. That led to Edward Leuven shooting a free kick that deflected in off of, I think, LBJ, right?
No, it was Davis, I think.
Was it Davis?
I've been told it was Lasse. I initially thought it was Jake Davis also from the angle that I had. So anyway, it's off of one of those two. Lasse did say he should not have turned his back or he should not have moved. He did tell me that in the locker room after, but at that time I thought it went off Davis. So I thought it just went past him and then off Davis. I've been told by other people it was off Lasse. So
yeah. And I mean, on the broadcast, they blamed it on Lasse.
So,
but, and then they level the game not late, but like midway through the second half when Calvin Harris gets a great ball, races in. They originally called it offside, which was like a comically bad offside call, like a cartoonishly bad call. But we have VAR, so it gets overturned, and we got a draw that felt like a win.
We did.
Okay. Well, let's talk about a decidedly less fun game.
Hold on. I would like to apologize to Jake Davis. As a Jake Davis, what did I call him? What did I say last week? Disbeliever. He had a great game against St. Louis.
He played well.
That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. Sorry to Jake Davis. Let's talk about Atlanta and what was somehow one of the worst first halves I've seen from this team this year.
They've had worse first halves.
I mean, I think it's all contextual. I think it's all contextual, right? We made Atlanta look awesome for the first half hour. Like Miguel Almiron was just cooking down that flank.
3 or 4 really good moments in that game in the first half.
Yeah. And then you realize that Atlanta is like just ass. Like they're terrible. And we made them for the first 30 minutes look like the team that won MLS Cup Atlanta.
Sporting is also at times the team that's below the ass.
I don't really know what to do with that. It's not good to be. I know. Robert, what did you see in our 2-1 loss to Atlanta?
Well, I was driving during that first half, David. Good thing I wasn't paying too close attention because I may not be here. Little S curve, and there was a trailer with a truck next to me, and I nearly got smashed against the barrier. But anyway, but yeah, it wasn't impressive. I think it's Atlanta. They had a bit of boost because Ebola was there. The crowd was into it, and on turf, so.
Did you just say Ebola? Ebola was in this. And
Bolo-
Brielle and
Sorry
Bolo.
about that. Thank you. Not the disease, right?
I really hope Ebola was not in Atlanta, although it is the home of the disease control center. So
Right.
It would explain the performance in the first half.
oh gosh.
But, Muscara got screwed into the ground there by Almiron. So they were riding a bit of momentum, I guess. You got to give them that.
That on that second goal, Carriage just completely lost his guy at the back post. What have you taken away from Carriage in his short time here in Kansas City?
Or was that the first goal?
I'm pretty sure it
Was that the one
where
Basong went to the bench asking who was supposed to mark this guy?
Yeah, that's the second.
That was
I thought
the
that was
second
the
goal was Basong. Second goal was Basong.
Okay.
First
Okay.
goal was
It was off the
Carriage.
set piece.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Basong watched the guy run by that he was pointing at just a minute, like 5 seconds before.
The
that.
second goal is the one where Mosquera's just standing there. The ball comes in and Mosquera doesn't move at all.
Mosquera is
First
supposed to zonal mark.
Right.
Basong, somebody else is supposed to be taking that player. Basong asked who had that player. If nobody responded, it's probably you, dog. And then he let him run in front of him and get on and let Pico score there. So
Okay, so
that's
first,
captain. You should assign somebody, if not you.
yeah.
Okay, so
Self-assign.
first goal, Almiron screws Mosquera into the ground, chips in a ball to the back post.
Mhm.
Carriage just completely loses his guy. What have you thought about Carriage so far?
For me, I thought Carriage has been fine. Like, again, not spectacular. He's had some good. He's had some okay. And on that one, I think that there may have been a little bit of Jake Davis wasn't back yet, so the whole back line kind of moved over, and the left wing or left midfielders should have come back with that runner. So it made Carriage look worse than what I think he was in that specific situation, because he's basically the two center backs are moved over. Mosquera's over. Wyatt's in where Mosquera should be. Carriage is where Wyatt should be, and then somebody else should have been out there. And that's what you kind of have to do, because if he wasn't in that spot, somebody running straight down the middle makes that score, makes that goal, and then we go, well, where the hell was that guy? So there is no right answer when not everybody gets their assignments right. And
I think part of it too had to do with the press break in the midfield. Like Sporting had the numbers pressed really high. Jake was very high. So the when you get broken open like that in that moment, that's what St. Louis was never able to do in reality. On Wednesday night, Atlanta found a way to unlock it and free up Almiron and go. That set them off, and not only are players out of position, but it's a numbers game and all that kind of stuff.
Carrie, what are your thoughts on Amir Carriage? And more importantly, why have we never been able to properly replace Seth Sinovic?
Always taking it back to him. I don't know. I'll be honest. I'm watching the goals right now because I was at volleyball. And then I watched the second half, just not the first half. But I mean, I guess the thing that probably is like making Carriage like seem so like good in my eyes is because he's a giant guy. It's nice to have both muscle and tallness on this team.
Tallness.
Height? Glad I wasn't going to say anything.
Height?
Look, it is 9 p.m.
Do you shut down at 9?
I do.
No, because we often pod at 10 o'clock at night when we're doing current pods.
And and that's usually when I reserve an hour of my time and I push it back, so I shut off at 10.
Okay.
So, Sperry, Seth Sinovic retired in 2020. He left Sporting.
Yeah, I don't know why we're still talking about him.
Wow. Wow.
Look,
homegrown hero,
Sperry,
Seth Sinovic.
I agree.
The guy that we kept trying to replace. And was Luis Martins better? Not really. Was Logan Ndembe better? Not really. Tim Leibold? Not really.
Oh.
Peter Vermees every year tried to replace this dude at left back and could never do it. And I think we're still trying to find like an actually really, really good left back. It's been a decade.
So is the rest of the world.
Yeah. I mean, especially in a league like Major League Soccer where you are forced to spend your money where you're forced to spend it. I think Carriage has been fine in reality. I like him. I like what he brings. He brings something more. He brings more give a bleep than Logan and Denbei or Tim Leibold ever did. He brings more up and down, back and forth, side to side, than Tim Leibold ever and Logan and Denbei ever did. Especially brings way more track back than Logan and Denbei ever did, and that's not a very hard bar to beat. And then I overall I think he's good. He's not gonna do what maybe Luis Martins, whatever his name was, on the left back side. Luis, yeah, I don't know. There's so many Luis Martins, Felipe Martins, whatever. Luis Martins, Martin. He was really good in possession and really good in the middle third of the field, but on either final thirds was not good. I think Carrick is really good at the back two thirds of the field, so the middle third and the defensive third, and that's probably what Sporting needs. His ability to close out guys in wide space, you saw a lot of it against St. Louis, and I think we saw a lot of it more so in the second half too against Atlanta. He might maybe misses a mark for that first goal. All defenders make mistakes because the whole point of the game is scoring goals, so guys are never going to be perfect. But I don't know that he's necessarily been perfect since he's come in, but there's a level of confidence and leadership that when you talk to him and you hear him speak that I think has been really important for the back line. And like I wouldn't be surprised if at some point that dude is at least second captain or borderline wearing the armband, just with the way the type of confidence that he speaks, and will speak into others, but also his knowledge, he gets it. And it has that big, that Balkan fight to him, which I think this team, that back line, is desperately needing a group like that. But I don't know that they've found their all-time perfect left back. He is 30 years old or 29 years old. Like, he's on the older end. He's going to be a really big boost here for the next couple of years. But this might be the best defensive left back that they've had in this squad since Seth. And I think that first and foremost, I think is really important for where this team wants to go. Because if it doesn't matter what this guy can do in the final third, with the ball at his feet or in service, if this team can't defend.
Yeah.
I mean, what it was his first or second game where like the commentators even mentioned that him and Jake Davis were getting into like a small fight, just like talking about like how they should be moving.
I didn't even think it was a small fight. It was more, you have a very emotional Jake Davis and an emotional Balkan man and Amir Karic that really knows what's happening. And it's like, no, you need to be here. And so the demonstrative back and forth fun is hilarious.
You think Jake had to get picked up for that?
I don't want to be pedantic about geography, but is Austria part of the Baltics?
He is Bosnian.
I thought he's Austrian.
He is Bosnian and Austrian, but he represents Bosnia. Played for Bosnia's national team.
He was like one of the last cuts before the World Cup for Bosnia.
Okay. But he was born in Austria.
Yes.
But we're attributing his fighting spirit to the Bosnians.
To Bosnia.
Yeah,
Bosnia.
the
Because
Bosnian
it's less
parents.
problematic than the fighting spirit of the Austrians.
True.
Yes.
Okay.
A little less red and black flag type of thing.
Sure. So, in addition,
I just want to add on to what Sperry was saying, though. I think the one thing I'm disappointed with him a little bit is I thought he would be faster. I've seen a lot of people kind of like pull away from him running down the wing. So his positioning is pretty good, but I just had kind of hoped he would be a little faster.
well, the opposite side starter is also not fast currently because Jake Davis got hurt. So, Thad, Daniel, I'm assuming one of you two might know something more than the rest of us. Do we have any update on what happened to Jake?
They didn't say, just that he planted, twisted the injury. They'll look into it. They're not going to have any sort of scan and update immediately afterwards. And they've got, I don't think today was recovery day and then maybe an off day tomorrow. So at least on day of recording, that doesn't help any of you who are listening, but I wouldn't be surprised if we hear anything before Thursday. So,
and that's when we'll ask, if nothing else. So,
yeah.
All All right. So I know like the next thing we're supposed to go to is like the next segment will be the current. But I do really want to have Sperry weigh in on the Dejan trade because that was originally the reason I asked him on. So I know you were having a fun like blocking him out there, but
fine. Daniel.
Yeah.
Thank you, Thad.
What are your thoughts on Dejan Joveljić to Seattle? Will he get the perfect roasted coffee? Does he like rain clouds? Does he have an umbrella? Is he properly prepared to suffer through the gloominess of Rain City, USA?
Does he like turf?
He's gonna have to. He's gonna have to. Yeah. Look, my overall thoughts on it. I was really surprised when I heard it about what's happening. If you look at Tom Boggart's reporting on it, and he talks about the fact that Sporting's able to get allocation money for transfers of a DP within the league, and I think I wouldn't be surprised knowing how David Lee kind of thinks in terms of he's done everything he can to maximize the amount of allocation money that this team has moving forward and has to operate with, because the allocation money is what gives you flexibility. I don't think this was a move that was necessarily done purely for the sake of getting allocation money, valuing allocation money over potential on-field product. But I think it was something that was presented to them as an opportunity, and the numbers worked. In reality, if you think about it too, any money on top of the $3 million that you can convert to allocation money, like that's just padding an owner's pocket. So it's kind of at that point. So it just depends on how much the owner wants at that point, or how much it kind of works out there, what the other team is willing to give. Seattle hasn't paid transfer fees in forever. I'd be stunned if they had paid upwards of 10. The 6 though sounds, you make a profit on it, you get the max amount of dollars in allocation money back that you can reinvest in your roster. But I think what's there, and I'll say this for Sporting fans listening that are thinking like, why should I care about allocation money over having a striker that just bags goals? And it's honestly, pound for pound, been the best striker that this team has ever had. And when you are in the world of what Sporting KC is now operating in financially, with Peter Maluk being the principal owner behind this transfer window, you play in a different sandbox, and you're playing. If you're told, I'm going to just say this hypothetically, you're told you have this offer. If we accept it, hey, you can accept that offer. The owner's telling you can accept that offer, and I'll give you the backing to replace that and more with a higher level investment, potentially a better player that you're bringing in. You think, as much as we love Dejan Joveljić, if you're paying, say, $15 to $20 million for a striker, hypothetically, you're bringing in a much better striker, better all-around player for this team. And as much as I love Dejan, there are some holes in Dejan's game that can be filled with a guy that is maybe the all-around striker that you can go find for $15, $20 million. And if you've already seen the proof in the pudding that they've paid $18 million for Luis, they were willing to throw $25 million towards in total, with I think it being 23 up front in the reported offer to New York City FC for Nicolas Fernandez. Sporting's willing to throw the cash around to fill those DP spots, much more so than anyone has before. So I think that's kind of like my take on it, is that this team is looking to improve in all ways, shapes, or forms. And with the way this season has gone, winning games now doesn't help you with like trying to win games with what you have in hand. It doesn't really help you for the next window. To be honest, it doesn't. And for the next years, when you might actually be more competitive, and as hard as that is for fans to probably deal with, I think that's the case here. So, go ahead.
Daniel, the question I asked to the group earlier before you got on was, so what's the profile look like for a replacement?
I think I think it looks like someone who can finish, but I think there are like maybe not at the Dejan's an elite finisher, right? And I think there's few and far between that you'll find that have that level of finishing ability until you really go into like the 30, 40 type of millions kind of guys. But Dejan doesn't always drop deep to drop between the lines to help build up. At times he runs extremely hard, but there are times where the press isn't like perfect, and the pressing choices aren't perfect. And I think ultimately you're looking for a player who kind of in a like fully rounded does it all. Someone that can be a threat in behind while also being a guy that can drop in deep, because you're asking for a player profile that's in that price range of somebody that's going to do all of that in that 15 to 20 million dollar range. So I think that's probably the profile of a player that they look at for that role. I also wouldn't be surprised if they end up going with more known quantity if they are going to fill the number 9 role this window. They'll have to get someone into the roster to play the number 9 just for the sake of a backup to Calhera. But whether or not that is, if Calhera is the guy that you're just going to run with through the season, I wouldn't be surprised if they get one DP role spot filled. But the whole thing for me is like sometimes the type of 9 that you have might play a role in what type of 10 you get. And depending on what type of 10 you get, then you might need a number 9 to kind of complement. I'm not saying that you have to do both those signings in the same window, but you can play a better mix and match game once you know what type of a number 10 you have for what kind of striker you need. So I'll be curious to see how they fill it this window, and do all of that. I expect more stuff coming in. I would be surprised if we hear of nothing this week and of nothing through the end of the transfer window. So the DP stuff is the one that'll probably be the last to be filled. And I wouldn't be surprised if that movement is closer to the final 72 hours of the window, because that's just when that ball really gets rolling and things move quick.
This episode is brought to you by Facebook. So you were scrolling on Marketplace, and there it was, the bike you'd been searching for. You sent a message, and it turned out the seller was super chatty, kind of funny, and an avid cyclist. The next thing you know, you're in a cycling crew. Well, a community cycling group. The thing about Facebook, you might find more than what you're looking for. From a browse to a bike ride, this summer find more on Facebook.
This episode is brought to you by PayPal. You had plans for the last days of summer. And back-to-school shopping has its own plans. School supplies, dorm essentials, your list doesn't stop. Neither does the spending. But when you pay in full with PayPal, you can pay over time. No interest, no fees. Check out with PayPal and get back to summer. Subject to approval. Learn more at paypal.com/payinfor. PayPal Inc. NMLS 910457.
This episode is brought to you by Nordstrom. For 125 years, Nordstrom has been part of your story. The stylist who found the perfect outfit for your big interview. The first pair of walking shoes for your 1-year-old. The tomato soup you shared with your sister at the cafe. These are the moments that make Nordstrom, Nordstrom. Big or small, we're here for all of it. Celebrating 125 years with new moments still ahead. Discover it all in Nordstrom stores and at Nordstrom.com.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
Carrie had shared this in our Slack channel, and I showed it up on our screen. At least I think it did. It looks like Seattle just posted a green chess piece and with the date of tomorrow on it. So
Shocking.
So
Shocking.
David,
No
David,
one knows what that means.
You can use your line.
Checkmate. What a bummer.
So,
What a bummer.
So just to clarify, because I'm not sure if I heard you correctly, you would not be surprised if they got one DP, or you would be surprised if they got no DP.
I think I'd be a little. Yeah, I'd be a little surprised if they had no DP. I think I'd be really surprised if they had two DPs in. That would be kind of shocking to me. I filling those spots does take time, and even if there is 10 days, maybe the perfect situations arise and you can knock out both real quick. But I would bet that going into the I would bet that by the time the sprint season starts, all 3 DP spots are filled.
Yeah.
So, and that seems to be the thinking from Maluk too, is that he wants his team to be at 3-3, not necessarily at the 2-4, which means to stay at 3-3 and to continue to pump allocation money into your roster to help make the bottom end a better, higher quality players. You got to be more transactional, and that's why you kind of got to make moves, like you do with Dejan. As much as it might hurt you from a visual and an optic standpoint, because I understand why fans might sit there and scratch their head and say, "What is going on?"
Yeah, it's a long term or midterm versus a short term. Right.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the Current. Not quite in the basement, but not thriving like they did last year. The Current draw at home to ChatGPT FC. Carrie, how did you feel watching the game? Talk me through the pain.
Like the kind of like the St. Louis game, it didn't feel like a complete loss. I think it was a fair result. I think we could have definitely beaten Laura Harvey's ChatGPT stats or tactics. But I think it was not an unfair result to get 1 point out of the game.
Thad, were you at the game?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
The Current were the better team throughout most of the game. I mean, they just gave up a goal that actually I didn't even realize at the time until afterwards that it was an own goal because it went off one of their own players. But they were the better team, but they just aren't getting results because they still don't have. There's just something that they're not getting correct. They were not clinical. They hit the crossbar a couple times. They had lots of chances. Their XG was like triple of Seattle's. But what I didn't like was that, like, Seattle's a great team and all this other stuff. Seattle just lost a couple days before that at Louisville, which is the worst team in the league. This should have been pretty much a slam dunk. And if you look at purely at stats, it kind of was a slam dunk. They definitely outshot them, outplayed them, but they didn't get the result.
What kind of leash does Armas have? If, let's say, they make the playoffs but flame out really early, does Armas have any risk of losing his job?
Well, they will be going out pretty early if it's an away game.
Yeah.
They're
not very good on the road. But then again, most of the season has been has not been consistently with Timois or Cooper.
And when they're both on the field, they are electric and they beat teams. So I don't know. It's a weird spot because there are things that feels like there are things that Armas is trying to pigeonhole in, like Debina. I just don't know that there's a spot for her on the field as a starter anymore with this roster and with this setup. But also, he played Haley Hopkins at left wing when she's the team's best striker, and they look so much better when they can play through her as a central reference point in build-up. They put her on the left wing because they were worried about Debina's defense and shutting down the crosses from Sofia Huerta, who is that right wing back that is an elite server of the ball in the NWSL, one of the best in NWSL history at hitting a dead ball and giving any sort of service into the box. So like that, it's a challenge for sure. And if the Timois there, you don't have to worry about it because Timois does all that defensive work. But there are other players that can do that defensive work while also like I'm sure you don't get as much offensively as you would by having both Haley Hopkins and Dabinia on the field. You get you're everybody else on that team has a central reference point to play off of at that point, and that is that was a choice that I just don't understand or agree with. I mean, I understand why he did it. I disagree with why he did it, and that it was necessary. But it's also a problem that's solved when Tomo Chawinga comes back. So
yeah, I would not do the lineups the way he does, but he's a coaching class educated coach. Even went to class with Laura Harvey.
As are many people who get fired from their jobs of coaching for being bad at it. Every
This
coach
is
who's
also
ever been
true.
fired has their coaching badges.
Well, not all of them, but pretty close.
Okay, well, you didn't have to correct me. Okay, just like edit that out.
No, that's the part I leave in.
Ugh. Okay.
Did Thad or Sperry see if the current players did their little like rowing celebration? Because they did not post about this on socials like they have in the past, which has been my biggest gripe. Why are we celebrating a draw? But I did hear the Blue Crew singing the song that they do it to. I just want to know if we have gotten to the point yet where we
I did not see it, but props to the current for. I feel like they've learned a few lessons since the greatest club in the world.
Have they?
Yes.
I just want to know if we're celebrating draws still at home.
At least on the social media account, they sure weren't.
Okay.
I'll also say this is the first time too. I didn't after some of those games, like the San Diego game, like they were kind of like, well, it's fine. We got the draw. The Houston game, there was a little bit more frustration from players post game that you could kind of sense. This one, I could feel it as well. We asked about some moments, and they were were willing to talk about it and kind of laugh and make jokes and stuff like that. But definitely the vibe coming in was a little bit of frustration. So I think players themselves are. I feel like last year that team would have taken a draw and would have treated it like a loss mentally.
They would have been pissed,
and that has not been the case this year.
Yeah, that's last year. Vlaco would have come into, I'm disappointed in the loss. I know we had a great performance, but I'm really unhappy with the loss. I mean, he would have been not like throwing people under the bus, but he would have stated that he's not happy. Armis comes in and is like, well, we fought really hard. We did this. We did all these things. We checked off all the boxes, except the one that you scored more than the other team. Different mentality. We'll see how the end result shows up.
Okay. Anything else on the current before you guys do your own pod that everybody should listen to, keeping current?
We'll see if we have time for that now, because we might just cut this one. So Sperry, you think we have time? Carrie? Okay. Then we'll do another one right after this.
All right. Well, let's talk about Robert, there's been a proposed change in the MLS playoff format, or they're proposing to propose a change to the MLS Cup format. It's unclear where exactly this is in the process, but what is this proposed change, and are we a serious league if we change the playoff format every single year?
Well, that I don't know. It doesn't appear that way, as Daniel mentioned earlier. The optics on Dejan and Manu, the optics here seem to lean toward that way, that we are not. But listen up, because you need to listen closely to this format that we may be adopting here for MLS. But so we've been talking a long time. Oh, we want a single table, right? Okay, supporter shield. Well, we're going to have a single table if this new playoff format comes through, but we're also going to have the divisions. Make sense? Well, let's see. So the winners of the regional divisions will automatically qualify as a top 12 seed in these playoffs. That will allow 20 out of 30 MLS teams into the playoffs. You would think that if you win the division, you're going to be in the top 12 in the supporter shields or the one table standing, right? But they just wanted to make that clear. So basically, the top 12 teams are put into one bracket, and teams 13 through 20 are put in another playoff bracket. The top 12, the home field advantage is given to the top 4 seeds or the top seeds, and they play each other. And the losers out of those games get a second chance. What does that mean? Well, it means at the same time as that top 12 group is playing, teams 13 through 20 will play a single elimination play-in game. So the losers of the top 12 games will then be put into a second chance, double chance bracket with the winners of the teams 13 through 20. Make sense so far?
Okay.
Sounds like a beer league softball tournament.
Real quick, Sperry, you can't say money. Give me a reason why this is a good idea.
Dollars.
Nope, you can't say money.
No, you told me I couldn't say money.
Carrie,
Dinero.
Dinero.
you can't say any word that is the same as money and can't say it in a different language either. Give me one reason that this is a good idea.
Coins. Cash. Moolah.
Moolah, bread,
Cheddar.
Tradable,
Okay.
tradable
Paper,
assets.
yes, we
Barterable goods.
Canadian dollars.
That's not real.
That's not valuable either. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It is valuable.
Okay, does
So
anybody
right
here
now-
of all of the brilliant soccer minds on this podcast, hosted by me, not a brilliant soccer mind, can any of you articulate why this is what we want for the league?
It's supposed to make regular season games more important because if you're a top team, you get home field advantage more of benefit. If you lose in your first playoff game, you get a double chance because you're a higher seed. So it's supposed to make the regular season more valuable.
I think it'll add some interest for teams in the 13 to 20 spot. But
The bad teams.
And one day we will get there.
we aspire to be out of the bad to the mediocre.
Is that the sales pitch for the club? Is like, hey, at least we're not in the crappy playoff bracket. We're in the somewhat better playoff bracket.
Well, not
Trust
yet,
the
but it
process?
will be.
Eventually, is that the sales pitch? Is trust the process. We'll one day be in an okay bracket.
Well, isn't that kind of the pitch for like some Premier League teams? Hey, we're not in the relegation group.
Right, exactly.
We're terrible. We don't have any chance of competing for anything, except we're not in the relegation battle. This at least has playoff. This has postseason to it. So there is some positive in that regard to me.
Okay.
But if you make one of the 13 to 20 teams and you're playing a single elimination play-in game so you can get into real playoffs, are you really going to say, yay, we made the playoffs?
You made the postseason.
You made the postseason. Okay.
Okay, let's say hypothetically you get a team of destiny. Team number 20 sneaks in. They get hot. They go on a rampage to the playoffs. They win it. I mean, like, are we calling that a legitimate champion? I mean, obviously they get the trophy, but like, I mean, that's like not what we're looking for, right?
They would be.
Sure.
I
And
mean,
whichever town wins that, when Montreal sneaks into the playoffs as 20 and wins it, they will call themselves Les Champions. But
Is Montreal still in the league? Wait, okay.
Yes, they are.
yeah, Club de Foot Montreal Impact FC AC QC. Yeah.
Sure.
They just signed
But-
a DP.
No, good for them. It can be done. But no, I'm being so serious though about like what is it that we are looking for in our league? I'm fine with the league being more American than like European soccer. Like I'm fine that we have playoffs when the European teams don't. Like fine. Whatever. That's okay. I'm fine that we have silly nicknames. I think we should bring back the Dallas Burn and the San Jose Earthquakes are awesome. Like great. Whatever.
Well, they're not that great on the field these days, but as a name, yes.
Yeah. No, they got a cool name.
I think
But-
Coach
what
by
I think
Bruce
they're-
Arena?
What I think, oh gosh, yeah, with help from Gavin Wilkinson. Shoot me now.
Problematic FC.
PR's nightmare. Holy cow. Anyways, I think some of this has to do with the idea that if we're going to 3 divisions, which I think is by all, and accounts. Like you can't split 30 into 4 evenly. You can split
Right.
30 by 3
I
evenly.
thought it was 5.
According to who?
That was
Whom?
a few months ago.
According to
No.
whom?
Everything I've seen has been 3 divisions. So a west, a central, and a east. And so if you can't, like, with 3 divisions at that point, even with 5, you have an even number at some, or an odd number where you need to get to an even number of teams to be in the playoff at this point. And so then at some point you've got to create a wild card beyond like a couple of spots. But then, like, let's say you have all the West Coast teams. So you're going to tell me out of both LA teams, Seattle, Portland, San Diego, and potentially like Vancouver now, who's good. We'll see how long that lasts, but Vancouver's good, right? Now, like if you're not a top 3, you're not an automatic bid into a playoffs. Like, what is the overall? Like, it ends up getting very convoluted and confusing. And so I understand they're trying to figure out a way to do this. We can just also do that without it being 20 freaking teams. And that's my biggest gripe.
Well, I mean, like you said, number-wise, you've got to get to 16.
Correct.
And this is a way to include more, and you're going to have those first 4 eliminated in that first play-in round, so you're down to 16. Now it works. But
yeah. And if they want to do the play-in tournament to like the NBA does, fine, I get it. The NBA does. The NBA is essentially the same thing at this point, but
Same viewership, same prestige,
well,
same thing.
in terms of the playoffs setup. Good night. Don't put those words into my mouth. We have less ownership. Well, I don't know. I was gonna say we have less ownership hijinks of trying to get players paid under the cap. But the LA Galaxy and Miami have been dinged for that, while the Clippers still have escaped all of that. So
you want to see the best teams in. That's the whole point of like why the Champions League is so popular. You want to see the elite clubs playing for something meaningful.
We'll get to that someday.
Genuinely don't want to watch, like Seattle this year playing for a championship. They suck. And they're going to be marginally better tomorrow with Decky, but like they don't deserve a trophy. And it's just,
they're not getting one.
And this new playoff format that Robert is championing,
champion
as I thrust upon you the responsibility.
Where did you get that from?
Well, you're the one explaining it to all of us, so I'm just assuming you like it.
Therefore, he made it.
That's exactly right.
You know what assuming does, David.
Direct,
but I mean, it's
every
just,
gripe to Robert.
If everybody makes the playoffs, then it's completely meaningless. It's just completely meaningless. Let's talk about something that doesn't make me sad. The Premier League kicked off last weekend.
Well, that makes me sad.
That makes me sad too.
Hey, my team came back and got a draw, at least.
Yeah. Your team, Robert, Liverpool, scraped back and got a draw after their big transfer from Newcastle, went back home to Newcastle and, didn't score any goals.
What did Spurs do, David? David, you tell us about what Spurs did.
Oh, Tottenham Hotspur continued to be terrible. It was painful, followed by Sporting being painful. Carrie, how did Villa do?
Also terrible.
Hell yeah.
I like the table right now. Brighton and Brentford at the top.
It's alphabetical. It's just the start of the season. That'll get fixed.
Sperry, who's your team?
I got mauled by the Tigers.
Hull?
No, I'm a Manchester United fan. Manchester United got mauled by the Tigers.
Right.
Okay, but did they really get mauled when there's other clubs losing 4-0?
No.
It's just like watching Sporting again.
It's Hull. So.
Yeah, losing to Hull's, when you're Man United, losing to Hull is pretty embarrassing.
That is like this LA Galaxy team losing to Sporting KC twice. Twice in the same year.
Would you say it's like Sporting losing to like, I don't know, the Colorado Switchbacks?
No, because they're actually decent.
How allow that one?
Maybe a Vermont Green, like a USL League 2 collegiate team,
I'm just glad Cody's not here because, Man City won.
Ugh. Plastic fandom.
So Dad, who's your Premier League team? Do you have one?
No.
That's so like Thad to not have one. That's fine.
He's an American through and through.
There you
None
go.
of that English tallywhacker stuff.
To be fair, I was like that until someone bought me a jersey, and I was like, I guess I will pick up a fandom.
So you're easily bought.
Dang.
No, hold on. I did have my club from the 2005 Game Boy FIFA game.
Okay.
No,
There you
I tend
go.
to watch teams that have more Americans on it, but I don't have a team that I care about winning or losing that much.
Big Leeds fan when Jesse
Carrie,
Marsh.
Yeah,
Carrie,
exactly.
You were old enough in 2005 to like be able to physically operate a Game Boy.
Yes.
What
Maybe
year,
it was like a
what year
few
were you
years after
born?
that.
What year were you born?
01.
Okay.
You could not have operated a game. My 4-year-old.
Okay. No, but I don't know. My
Carrie is a savant.
my niece is 3 years old now and can fully operate a Switch.
Okay.
Crazy. A light switch or a Nintendo Switch?
Nintendo Switch.
Jesus. Thad, are you watching Middlesbrough in the Champo since they've got all the Americans?
I did watch them this weekend, yeah.
Did you enjoy that the championship is back? It's the best league in the world. Not in terms of quality, but if you want to watch a bunch of dudes get kicked pretty hard for 46 games.
If it's the best league in the world, do the current play there?
Gosh, this is where you need a soundboard. Just with the air horn. The pew, 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 pew.
No, Cody's not here. All right.
I do have sound on here somewhere.
So David, just one quick mention here. So the Athletics article about the MLS playoff system says it this way. The top 8 teams are Champions League teams. The next 4 are Europa League qualifiers. The final 8 are Conference League. So there you go.
For MLS Cup? Playoffs? I'm confused. Did I miss
That's the way to look at it.
Playoffs?
Did I miss the bit? I don't understand.
That's one way to look at it. The top
Okay.
8 Champions League. Yeah.
Okay. Well, but it, like in the Premier League, the top
Oh, I know there are
teams
problems with it,
actually
David. I'm just saying
qualify
what
to
they
a thing.
said.
No, but I'm just you qualify to a thing. If you finish 5th or 6th
Right.
in the Premier League, you get to actually play in another tournament. Are you telling me that if Sporting finishes like 13th in this format, we get to play in like whatever shittier than the League's Cup? Because I don't want to play in that. Is that who gets forced to play in the Open Cup?
I was just going to say that, but I didn't want to say it.
That made me sad. It's been a brutal week, guys. It's been a brutal week.
It has.
Well,
we didn't officially do a full core moment thing.
No, we had a core
started
roster
it.
move of the week.
But we didn't, only got one.
Is there another one to have?
But that's the point, is we all have to do something.
Was there anything positive that happened this week?
Okay, so that's my question, is what's your core positive moment this week? It may not be a game. It may not be soccer. It may be something else.
Okay.
I think for me, it's watching St. Louis City fans crash out on the internet while being 12 games unbeaten.
Yeah.
Robert, what's your core moment of the week?
Let's see. I'm going to go with, good golly. Whatever it was that Rafa Wicki was doing on the sideline, it looked like some cheer, but I saw him doing this and I'm waving my arms above my head in dramatic fashion a number of times. I have no idea what it meant, but it was fun to watch.
Carrie.
I will say Andre Luis arriving into Kansas City today. Give some hope.
Okay. Thad, did you already go?
I did not.
What's your core moment, Thad?
Getting a result against St. Louis to remain unbeaten in Kansas City.
Okay. I like
You?
that Afrifa scored.
Yeah.
Afrifa does not get to play a lot. And every so often, we all say, how can he possibly not be getting on the field? And then he gets on the field and he does something kind of interesting. And then he disappears for another few games. But
Sporting KC's leading scorer.
it was fun to watch him score.
I have found a free for enjoyer, folks. It is David Greenwald.
No, I'm just, I'm gassing up our boy. He scored a goal. He should be celebrated for it.
Cool.
That's what a free for appreciator or enjoyer would say.
As opposed to a Jake Davis.
A free for enjoyer would
Denier.
absolutely say, gassing up my boy.
He is my second favorite Canadian who plays for Sporting KC at the current moment?
There's only 2.
He made the top 2.
That's kind of like a same standard as MLS playoffs.
That's right. Everybody makes the list. All right. Thad, does anybody else have anything before we wrap up? No?
Yeah.
No hands? Thad, say something prophetic.
Thank you to Core Outdoor Equipment for sponsoring us.
Cody, we miss you. Sporting!
Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. The other side don't seem so tough. And 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Supporters strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin. Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.